Ciao.
Stay tuned for more rock concert following these messages.
Yes.
I'm going to start recording so that I can make sure that people know that I am talking to whom? The editor-in-chief of the Mac Observer, Bryan Chaffin, everybody.
So cool.
I know, right?
Hey, Ken. How's it going?
Oh, it's going okay, Bryan. How are you?
Yeah, good. Pandemic, but
Are you like me? I've started doing this when I go to the grocery store now, when they play the horrible, we're all in this together thing, that I don't buy it anymore. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it anymore because I've seen too many people without masks. And I also know that lots of people are getting more rich while lots of people are getting thrown, out of their houses. And then they play this recording that says we're all in this together.
But at the same time, it kind of feels like it might be a new era.
Well, I was going to go ahead and do what my joke was, though.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, it's okay. They say, to help stop the spread of the virus. And I always go, there's a virus?
I don't get the joke.
I like the idea that I wouldn't know. I like the idea that there's anybody who wouldn't know at this point. It's not a real joke. It's more, maybe it had to be there, Bryan. Or maybe none of us should be there.
More of an ironic and maybe even cynical comment on at least a subsegment of our society?
Well, I just thought I was being goofy, but sure. So Monday. I'm kind of curious to hear about this new era thing that you were talking about. I don't know if that'll play into this conversation that we're having or not. Maybe we could talk about that another time, because I want to be sure that we get to the topic that you have picked for today. Because Monday, as regular listeners to this show know, I have a hard time getting started. And so what I do...
It's the beginning of a new week.
It's the beginning of a new week. And so what I do is I turn it over to the guest and I say, what I need you to do is you tell me something. Yeah, tell me what I don't know. And what's interesting is you picked a topic this week. You're like, well, I don't know if you want to talk about this because you won't know anything about it. And I'm like, dude, you're ringing my bell. You're singing my song. You're cranking my motor. You're doing all those things that I want this to do. When I said this week, it's news to Bryan, Bryan said...
Cryptocurrency.
And I said, okay, that sounds like a concept. That doesn't sound like news. And besides, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, so we're halfway there. You say there's actually been a run in cryptocurrency.
There has been for the last several months.
Okay.
And there was actually recently a pullback from the highs, although the pullback was this week. And both the bull market and the pullback end up bringing extra attention to it. I've got more people asking me about it, privately. By the way, that's Commander Ichabod.
That's fine.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Let me ask you a question really quickly, because I'm assuming that it might have something to do with what goes on with what I'm going to laughingly call real money as well. Has there been a run because of all of the uncertainty, and has there been a pullback because, now we've got a White House that looks like it might think the same thing for 5 consecutive days?
No, I don't think so. Although Janet Yellen, what's her new position?
Treasury Secretary?
Is that what she's going to be? She's going to be Treasury Secretary?
I don't know. I feel like I should know. I don't know.
She's not the...
No, she was chair of the Fed before.
Chairman of the Fed, yeah.
She was that before. I feel like she's going to be Treasury Secretary now. I mean, assuming that she gets approved.
Nominee, yes, you're right. You are correct. She's the United States Secretary of the Treasury nominee. Very capable woman. She recently made some comments about cryptocurrency, saying that they, meaning the regulators to be, the powers to be, the government, may want to sort of clamp down on cryptocurrency because it has a lot of criminal activity associated with it.
Right.
And now the reality is she said a bunch more than that, but that was, of course, what everybody honed in on. So that sort of helped spark a bit of a pullback. But then there was also a false rumor that there had been a double spend error, meaning that 2 Bitcoins, just for the sake of simplicity, 2 Bitcoins or 1 Bitcoin was spent twice, which is a real problem. It's actually one of the things that the entire blockchain concept is supposed to keep from happening. It's why miners exist. Why Bitcoin miners exist. And that helped some more pullback. It turns out, by the way, that was something that didn't actually happen. I haven't traced down where that story started. But the 2-bit sort of put some pressure on Bitcoin, but it came it came roaring back to, I don't know, it dipped down to $30,000, actually just below $30,000, and it's back up to $33,000 as we're recording this.
Okay. Help me understand why anybody cares.
Well,
sorry. I understand why people would care about the value of Bitcoin if they're bought into Bitcoin. What I don't understand is if I show up to you tomorrow and I'm like, hey, I have this new idea for money. So why don't you give me, what we all sort of accept as money, and I'll give you this representation of a new idea of money. And you're like, God, that sounds amazing because nobody else is going to have this. So it's going to be worth.
Well, but that's not it. It's more like, what can your new form of money do that current money doesn't do?
But what if I say you can buy things with it?
Well, which funny enough is one of the hardest things to do with cryptocurrency is actually to buy anything.
Yeah. Okay.
There are some places that you can spend it for sure and spend it just like you would normally spend money. There's a silver. Can I mention a company's name?
Look, I'm not endorsing anything. I'm telling you, I don't.
I'm not endorsing them.
And let me really quickly say, by the way, if any part of this sounds like an infomercial or something, I am honestly learning probably more by the end of the next 5 minutes than I have ever learned about cryptocurrency before. So you can mention whatever you want to if you feel like it illustrates your point.
Well, there is a silver and gold dealer in Texas called JM Bullion, jmbullion.com, and they take cryptocurrency, and they take a wire transfer, they take cryptocurrency, and they'll take credit cards. They charge the most for a credit card, the second most for cryptocurrency, and the least for a wire transfer. But of course, you're going to be paying for the wire transfer on your side. So that's a place where you can actually spend your cryptocurrency. And there's a few other places too. Overstock.com. I'm not sure if they're still taking cryptocurrency at the moment, but they were one of the biggest retailers that would take it. But the point is that there are things that cryptocurrency can do that you can't necessarily do with dollars and yen and yuan and francs and pounds. I don't know if francs exist anymore, or euros or whatever. And one of those things is transferring very tiny amounts of money. You can't send a quarter to someone. It costs you a couple of bucks to send a quarter to someone.
Right.
Through the traditional system. With cryptocurrency, you can send very small amounts of money. And it kind of depends on the cryptocurrency, and it also depends on the moment, because there are fees associated with sending anything across any cryptocurrency blockchain. But some of them are really, really, really inexpensive. And being able to send tiny amounts of payments or tiny amounts of money from one person to another person, or from one person to a company, or whatever, has a lot of potential, especially in emerging markets, and especially in the third world.
All right, but here's the thing: money is just like this idea that we all sort of accept, right? But we all accept it because it's been the accepted idea for, here in the States, it's been the accepted idea for 200 some odd years. And then, go to England, and the pound has been accepted for longer than that, and on back. But mostly it seems to be based on, I don't know, history. Either that or just, lunacy. About Emperor Norton bucks, right?
I do not.
Okay, so Emperor Norton was this guy. People may have heard me tell this story before. I'll try to tell it quickly. It's not my story. It's a story of really one of the greatest things ever to happen in San Francisco. So there's this guy who had the rice market cornered. He had the rice market cornered. He had leveraged himself to the hilt, but he knew when all the rice was coming in, and he had the rice market cornered. The only problem was there was a boat he didn't know about. And the ship that he didn't know about came in before the rest of his stuff came in. He lost everything, left San Francisco in shame. Came back 2 years later with a funny hat and epaulets on his sleeve, epaulets on his sleeve, declaring himself Emperor Joshua Norton I, ruler of the United States and protector of Mexico. And what he did was he started giving out his own money. And the thing is, San Francisco loved this guy. And so they honored his currency because he was fun to entertain. And then they actually started taking Emperor Norton bucks from other people, and then they would trade Emperor Norton bucks with other people. And the whole thing was made up just basically on this idea that they liked. Tell me the difference between that and cryptocurrency.
I don't think we have enough time to get into all the differences between that and cryptocurrency.
Okay.
I mean, for one thing,
well, I mean, let me go more simple.
A few decades.
Forgive me really quickly, because we are getting short on time. Let me go really quickly. Just what is it that backs the idea of cryptocurrency?
The only thing that backs the idea of cryptocurrency is faith.
Okay, so I'm not hearing a difference between Emperor Norton bucks then.
Well, because there are what do Emperor Norton bucks do?
They were actually able to be traded at stores for goods.
Well, yeah, you can trade them, but what do they do?
Well, they don't do
anything. Correct.
Right.
They don't do anything. But with cryptocurrency, you can do things. And with some of the newer platforms, Cardano is my favorite. Or Ethereum, by the way, I own tiny bits of all these, but I'm not being a cheerleader for any of them. That's not how I work. You can build applications. You can do things like smart contracts. You can have information that is kept on the blockchain. There are all kinds of things that can be done with blockchain technology, and cryptocurrency is merely one facet of blockchain technology. And in that particular way, Emperor Norton bucks have no relationship whatsoever to something like cryptocurrency. But the idea that we are assigning a value by choice, i.e. faith,
right.
In that regard, they're similar.
Well, I mean, and see also currency. Yes?
Okay.
No?
Sure.
Okay. You don't think so? I mean, it's fine. I mean, I know I'm oversimplifying, but the problem is I think sometimes it's made overly complicated. I mean, a lot of times we throw like so many different ideas and throw so many different numbers and so many different, well, you couldn't possibly because, and then when you boil it all down, it's like, well, it's really just all an idea anyway. Then, I think people want to beat you with sticks because, they don't want you to. Go ahead.
That's the same thing with fiat money. Fiat money is dollars and euros and what's
okay.
It is they have it has value by fiat, which is another form of faith.
Right.
It's just faith that's backed by the government.
Right. Oh, no, we're saying the same thing there.
But and if you go back a little further, if you actually go back to the period of Emperor Norton, as a matter of fact, if he was doing his I don't know what his currency was made of. I don't know if it was printed or if it was metal. If it was metal, I don't know if it was silver, if it was gold.
Oh,
but
no, it was printed.
It was printed. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you go back even a few decades, fiat money was not fiat money. It was actually backed by gold and or silver. And if you go back even just a couple of centuries, you're actually working with actual gold and actual silver. Right. So, I mean, money has been evolving.
Oh, I know. I get
for the, all along, from just trading, beads or anything else that has value or pretty rocks that have other value. Isn't there a Polynesian culture that actually uses rocks as a currency?
Sure, if you say so.
I believe that there is. I can't remember the details, and if I'm flubbing up some aspect of that, my apologies to anyone who does know. But money has been evolving for a very, very long time. Cryptocurrency is an evolution of money. It might be the evolution of money. I kind of doubt that, but it is an evolution, and it brings things to market that the current dominant banking system doesn't do well or doesn't do.
You know what I think? I think instead of "In God We Trust" on the dollar, we should replace that with just "Don't worry, it's going to be fine."
We probably should, but I think we should get rid of "In God We Trust" for entirely different reasons.